Okay, in this video, we're going to take a look at binary options and discuss a little bit the issues and controversy in relation to the options. First thing, in the previous video, we had a look at the payoff structure. And if we examine that for a moment, that we had set this up in Excel, it's fairly clear when we compare a plain vanilla call option against the binary option, the binary option is much more dramatic. So if we set the cash amount, if this is a cash or nothing option, and we say the payoff would be 200, the cash amount we would make was 200. Once the stock price exceeded 100, then we get you can see the extent to which we either win or we lose, and there is no in between. So in that sense, it's dramatic. It looks a little bit like a gambling product. At the same time, it is an investment, because in a number of jurisdictions, again, if I share screen, if we look a little bit at the genesis of how this market grew, we know that the Securities and Exchange Commission in 2008 approved the request by the CBOE to trade binary options for the first time. So that, if you take a look at this document here, you can look a little bit at the processes involved. But by May 2008, the SEC, CFTC had approved the proposed change in the rule, and that was done by the SEC Division for Trading and Market. So binary options are legitimately accepted as an investor type product, right? However, if we go on a few years, and I don't have the date here, I presume it's the early teens, the SEC became alarmed of binary options and fraud, and this is something that has cropped up. Now, what they would say is that the CBOE and NADEX and other markets, I think there's a Cantor Fitzgerald market as well, that trade these are perfectly fine. The issue is more to do with binary option trading platforms that are not registered, that are unlicensed, and may operate outside many jurisdictions where appropriate type regulation is not enforced. And of course, in cyberspace, very often with internet-based trading platforms, it's not always clear which jurisdiction is responsible. And many of these trading platforms exploit loopholes and engage in forms of regulatory arbitrage. So it's not just in the US, this fraud that has been flagged by the SEC itself has also been identified by the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. And in April, again, the original note here was 2017, but has been updated, right, to 2019. So from April 2nd, 2019, the sale, marketing, distribution of binary options by firms to retail consumers are banned in the UK. And there is some definition here. Binary options are a form of fixed odds betting. So it's a 1-0, yes, you win, or alternatively, you lose. Typically, a trade involves predicting whether an event will happen or not, so the stock price going in excess of exercise price, and the outcome is either yes or no. If the investor is correct, they win and should see a return on their investment. If they're wrong, they lose their full investment. Okay. Now, sometimes there's modifications here where you get back a little bit even if you lose. But that's more by way of a marketing type device, I think. Okay, concerns about binary option. Binary options, option consumers typically lose money. These losses can be significant. So this has been the experience. Again, if these products were a little bit, maybe we could use the term and maybe inappropriately, were legitimized by, the approval for trading of SPX and VIX type options on the CBOE, and then NADEX in turn, and other licensed exchanges in the US, right? And so there is an aura of legitimacy around these trading, and yes, the binary options are legitimate products. There's no question there, but the scale of operations on OTC trading platforms that are unlicensed, unregulated, very often are hosted on portals outside United Kingdom, United States, outside Europe often, has been quite significant. And okay, so in addition to the FCA banning, also the European Securities Market Authority have imposed a ban across the EU, including the UK. So UK was still part of EU 2018. Our ban includes certain binary options that were excluded from the ESMA's ban. So it was even more binding, right, this ban. Prior to January 3rd, 2018, binary options were regulated by the UK's Gambling Commission. If you wanted to make a complaint against the binary option firm relating to a bet before January 3rd, 2018, you should register your complaint with the dispute resolution body of the firm. So there has been a kind of a move also in recent years to see binary options as investment products, and we can track that in the US with the arrival of the trading binary on very big exchanges like the CBOE, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, and NADEX, right? But historically, they have been regulated by gambling commissions, and that would be true in many jurisdictions. And now that they have moved into the more investment space, there have appeared a lot of scams. And again, a variety of things are taking place. Of course, there's a lot of fintech, and if you have machine learning algorithms that can find people with particular character traits, third parties can piggyback on the Facebooks and on Googles and on the large social media and take advantage of the search capacity embedded in those social media. So you can always find people with predilections for gambling. And again, if we read here, UK consumers have been targeted by binary options investment scams, which commonly promise higher than average returns for bets that never occur and manipulate software to distort prices and payouts. So that's one problem. You are induced to believe you're making an investment. You invest in a particular type of option, binary option type product, on some of these unlicensed, unregistered brokers' portals. The price is being manipulated. So the bet would be that Apple stock price or a Bitcoin or maybe a less well-known asset is trading relative to a key critical exercise level, and then the price is being manipulated. So instead of actually investing in the markets, you're playing a video game, and by deliberately pushing the price below the exercise or above, you don't receive your payoff. So also these OTC unlicensed, unregistered brokers very often refuse to return the funds of clients. So in addition to the bet being rigged, you also find yourself often in situations where you trade on these exchanges, and then the broker refuses. Even if you make money, the broker refuses to refund, and then very often breaks all contact with customers. Fraudulent binary option traders often advertise on social media. The advertisements linked to the websites that are well designed and professional looking. And so even though you have a very professional setup with a very professional trading platform with a lot of bells and whistles, you're still getting a rigged bet, and even if you do win, funds may not be returned to you. You should only deal with financial service firms that are authorized by us. Okay, so obviously the FCA is very concerned about this. If we wanted to look at a very interesting case study, the Times of Israel had a series of articles looking at investigating some of the large-scale fraudulent activity of operations in Tel Aviv. And large numbers of people have been involved in the retailing of binary options. And some of the cases here are really, really sad and desperate, and very often slightly older individuals are manipulated by being fraudulently retailed investment product, which is just a binary option, and the bets very often are rigged. Even if you do win, the money is not returned, and then the product itself is highly addictive. Again, binary options have a high degree of they are very much are concerning because of the degree to which individuals can be their behavior can alter as a result of trading these type of product. Definitely, in terms of being addictive, they cause concern. So definitely worth to read. The author here on this, just to give her due, Simona Wineglass, and she's a number of podcasts as well. So if you search in Spotify or Google Podcasts, you'll find some very interesting content related to this. Also, there's been a number, this is a series of articles that she's written, and she's exposed large-scale fraud, and the scale of this is huge, even touching political circles. Okay, so that's one of the concerns here worth identifying, and you cannot exclude that when we're looking at binary options. I think it's important that we point out that these are ongoing concerns. I'm not sure how they can be resolved. Typically, social media has an effect here. They typically can find for third parties with these machine learning algorithms, will find relatively easy groups of individuals who can be, want of a better term, harpooned. And the powerful fintech embedded in all our social media has some responsibility here. And then on the other end, some jurisdictions, Israel seems to be one, where the binary option industry has flourished, and some element of that has been quite chronic. Okay, so I leave that there.